And we start off with news just coming in. Moderna has now announced that its experimental vaccine against COVID-19 was shown to be 94.5% effective. This is now a ray of hope in the fight against COVID-19. Moderna becoming the second US company to release data from a large study of its experimental vaccine. Take a listen into these reactions.
A really important milestone in the fight against the pandemic because it demonstrates that our vaccine, mRNA-1273, is able to prevent COVID-19 disease, including severe disease in people who've received it. It's really just a milestone, though. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Knowing the vaccine is going to be effective is great news, but we still need to complete the regulatory process, which involves completing the study and generating more data, even some follow-up and safety data. And then, of course, we need to get busy manufacturing 20 million doses of the vaccine by the end of this year, by the end of the calendar year. And we're looking forward to making about 500 million to 1 billion doses next year. But that is going to be a 24/7 operation. It won't be Moderna alone that solves this problem. It's going to require many vaccines, as we've been saying for a while. But we hope to be able to do our part from here forward. And this is a really important milestone in that journey. There's other approved vaccines out there that provide a significant benefit. And so we're hopeful that most people will still get the vaccine, even with a couple of those days of flu-like symptoms that sometimes come, because the benefit this vaccine provides is a protection from COVID-19 disease.
And Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel also said, and I'm quoting, "This positive interim analysis from the phase 3 study has given us the first clinical validation that our vaccine can prevent COVID-19, including severe disease." That's the statement coming in from the Moderna CEO. Now, these results are according to the early results from a clinical trial with more than 30,000 participants. It will now be seeking emergency use authorization from the US Food and Drug Administration, expected later this month. Its first analysis was based on 95 cases of COVID-19, 90 of which received a placebo, with 5 receiving the vaccine. There were only 11 severe cases, and all of these were in the placebo group. The results come 1 week after Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech also announced that their experimental vaccine against COVID-19 was more than 90% effective based on initial data. Moderna, which went public in 2018, has received nearly $1 billion in research and development funding from the US government. It also has a deal worth $1.5 billion to supply 100 million doses. Moderna also has supply deals with other countries. And virologist Michael Laniel is now joining us live from Jerusalem for more on that. Hi, Michael. Thanks very much for speaking with us. Your assessment of this positive news that's coming in from Moderna and the reactions that we have been getting in so far.
Yeah, so as you mentioned correctly, this is a fantastic news. And actually from the Pfizer report a week ago, it was pretty much expected that it was also a good news for Moderna. The reason being that both companies adopted the same technology, which is new technology, but the result from Pfizer already alluded to the fact that probably we are going to hear good news from Moderna as well. So this is fantastic news, and I think whether it's 90% or 95%, this is minor. What's more important is that, first of all, severe disease was prevented, which is very important. And second, which is a very high efficiency level. Whether it's 90 or 98 or 95, it's will be time will say. But it's very high, and it's a fantastic news for everybody.
Yes, Michael, like you just mentioned, the assessment that it worked very well in cases of severe disease as well. If you can elaborate for our viewers why that's so significant.
Sorry, can you repeat the last point?
Like you also mentioned, it works against severe disease, severe cases of COVID-19. Yes. That is one of the very significant aspects of why this makes it such a positive development.
Absolutely. Despite the fact that we are only having a number of cases that is below 100 in both cases, both for Moderna and for Pfizer, those numbers will be increased in the coming 2 or 3 weeks. And only then the FDA and the regulatory system will probably approve it. So we are expecting more solid, I would say, statistics in the coming 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I believe that both announcements just tells us that something is going to make a game change in how we treat the COVID-19 worldwide. And that's everybody should be happy. But clearly, there will be many months to go till we can really change our attitude of, remote contact and avoiding clustering and so on and so forth.
Well, this is just one part of the fight against COVID-19, though this is an extremely positive development. The other part is the race for getting a COVID-19 vaccine, especially when it comes to the lesser developed countries. Your comments on the priorities when it comes to the distribution of the vaccine once we do have a successful candidate?
I think you are touching a very important point, because the challenge will be delivery, storage, quality of the vaccine, and so on. So I think most of the effort now from all around the world should be how to make it a fair distribution, how to help countries that have maybe less developed in terms of storage and so on to overcome those hurdles. And this is the real challenge. And I think if and only if the world will be unified in order to understand that this is a world event and not a country-based event, I think the future for the world will be much better. That's for sure.
All right, Mikhail, thanks very much indeed for joining us with those perspectives. Thanks very much.
Co-presented by Skoda. Simply clever.